Murray trying to get it. Shot clock winding down. Murray puts up a three. Bang! Jamal Murray from downtown. It's an 18-point lead. 36 for Murray. Jokic on the steal ahead to Grant. And the Nuggets pouring it on. Timeout LA. A 20-point lead with 2:10 remaining. This is absolutely shocking.
Shocking is a word for it. Choked is a word Magic Johnson used tonight. Wow. Calling out the Clippers, who he said choked against Houston in 2015 and then again tonight against the Denver Nuggets. A lot of emotions out there on Twitter and in the bubble itself, where the Denver Nuggets are celebrating something that has never, ever happened before in NBA playoff history. There have been 256 instances of a team taking a 3-1 lead over another at a best-of-7 series. Only 13 times in all those series has the team down 3-1 come back, and the Nuggets have now just done it twice in consecutive series. First team ever do that twice in a single playoffs. An absolute stunner of a result. Raise your hand if you had the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals when they were down 3-1. Okay, now put your hand down because you're lying. No one believes you. That's the Hall of Famer Isaiah Thomas. That's Caron Butler. I'm Matt Weiner. I don't know how to explain this. The Nuggets outscored the Clippers by 64 points over the last 3 second halves. They were down double digits in each, and somehow, Zeke, they're moving on. And the Clippers, this super team with incredible depth that a lot of us, myself included, picked to reach the NBA Finals going back to last summer, they're done. They're out of the bubble, headed home.
You know, the Clippers never could figure out the 1-5 screen and roll, and I look at Joker and I look at Murray and the 1-5 screen and roll, and it reminded me a lot of Lambeer and I in terms of pick and pop. Lambeer not nearly as great a passer as the Joker, but in terms of stretching the defense, knocking down the three, and then being able to pass to different people. I mean. And the Clippers never could figure it out. Now, the Joker went inside, and when he went inside, you know, the game was over. I mean, I felt Murray and the Joker and Jokic, they really not only dominated the game, but offensively, every time the Clippers tried to do something defensively, they had a counter with a stretch or a post.
Nikola Jokic dominated is the word, Zeke, dominated the game and only took 13 shots, which is just extraordinary. The Nuggets executed that pick and roll, and as you mentioned, the Clippers could never find an answer for it. But at the same time, LA once again, Caron, had a double-digit lead, and a lot of people watching this series and the games within this series are saying, what happened to this team down the stretch in these instances?
It's all about the Denver Nuggets, and I was blessed and fortunate to do an internship with Tim Conley, Calvin Booth, Josh Kroenke. Those guys let me come over in my transition on working in this space after I retired. And I watch, Coach Malone say that we're a couple years away from being a couple years away. Then the development of Murray and then the development of Joker to saying that, you know what, we just need a few more pieces and we're going to get there. Adding guys like Grant and different pieces to that nucleus. They're ready for the moment. And we still thought that it was a year away, going against the Los Angeles Clippers because they possess so much firepower when you're talking about the reigning finals MVP and Kawhi Leonard coming over to join that team, with Paul George joining that team, with already that production off the bench and that firepower, and Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell and the coaching staff in place, Jerry West over there as well. But the Denver Nuggets, this is all about them. I know that we're going to talk about the Clippers because we just saw one of the biggest upsets, I feel like, in sports history when you talk about all the things that they was, expected to be, expected the series, the Battle of LA and everything. But you got to give a ton of credit to Jamal Murray and all those guys for just stepping up, being present in the moment, because clearly the Clippers was not present in the moment. They took advantage of the situation. When you talk about the Denver Nuggets and their young talent, they believe. Even when they was down 3-1, they believed. In the series prior, and they was battle tested from that hardship of last season, exiting in a fashion that they wasn't okay with. Mm-hmm. And they came back, and this format, they really feel some way about their talents and what they can do. And immediately in that post-game interview, that walk-off, I'm sorry that I'm long-winded, but everybody said, you know what about the Lakers? Look, we got talent over here too, and we feel like we can upset and beat just about anybody, so let the chips fall where they may. Big ups to the Denver Nuggets and what they was able to accomplish.
Absolutely. At the same time, as you mentioned, a lot of the what went wrong here. And think of this in a historical context as well. The Clippers' history is full of mistakes. It's full of bad fortune, much of it self-inflicted, admittedly. This was the 8th time they had a chance to win their way into the conference finals, and they are 0-8 in those circumstances. And tonight, their biggest stars, the coups of last summer's spending spree and acquisition spree, just didn't play well tonight. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, a combined 10 of 38 for 24 points as we check the shot chart presented by Kaiser Permanente. Zeke, was there anything about the approach from Kawhi and PG that stands out to you tonight that just wasn't effective?
When you look at the shot chart, really, it came down to them being a jump shooting team, and they had no ball penetration. They couldn't get to the basket. They couldn't find a way to break Denver's stranglehold defensively. These mid-range shots are all challenge shots, and when you challenge a shot, a challenge shot is made 22 to 23% of the time. And every shot that they took, even though they were mid-range shots, all these shots are being challenged. There was nothing free. There was nothing easy. And when they did get easy looks, they weren't able to knock them down. And the Joker, this is a problem. And this is what Shaq and all the big men have been talking about for the last couple of years. When the big man really comes to play and he shows up in the post, a big man is capable of dominating the game inside the paint with his size and with his passing ability when you have to come back and double team. And Jokic only took 13 shots, but they had to double team him every time he touched the ball in the paint because he was dominant. And thus he was able to pass and get open shots for everyone. So the Lakers, they have 2 defensive centers that can match up inside with Jokic, so they'll have a better defensive presence. But I thought the Clippers had no defensive interior presence when Jokic went inside. Consequently, they had to double team him. When they double teamed him, he made them pay every single time.
It was fascinating for a team full of good defenders. They just could not solve the Nuggets puzzle. Here's head coach Doc Rivers.
Everything that started with the season with the talent on hand, the stated desire to win a title. What does this feel like after these last 3 games?
Just disappointed. I thought we had so many opportunities over the last 3 games to win. But listen, you got to give Denver credit. They kept playing, they kept executing, they kept playing together. So right now, it's just disappointment. Honestly, I thought you could just see the difference in the 2 teams. That team's been together. We haven't, and you can see it as the games went on. They just knew each other so well. I thought offensively, even though listen, we had great shots. Great shots all night. I still didn't think we trusted. We did at the beginning of the game. We did coming out of the 3rd quarter. We got a 7-point lead. But right when they put pressure on us, honestly, I just thought we didn't come through.
Thanks, Doc.
We'll go to Owen.
Hey, Doc. This team never was able to reach its full potential. How good did you think this team could have been? And did the expectations, were they ever too heavy for this team?
No, we didn't meet them. That's the bottom line. I'm the coach, and I'll take any blame for it. But we didn't meet our expectations, clearly. Because we had, in my opinion, we'd still be playing.
We'll take a question from the bubble with Dan.
Game 7s, a lot of times the stars are supposed to.
Well, Game 7's our make-miss game at the end of the day.
Is that what those 2 guys just missed shots?
I don't think it was those 2. I just think as a group, it wasn't just those 2. if you look at our shot quality, it was pretty dang good, but the ball didn't go in. And, on those nights, you hoped that you can lean on your defense. And I just didn't think, he
falls short of expectations in his first year with the Clippers. Tough night and a really tough series to swallow.
So much has happened in the NBA bubble. So as the journey comes to an end, we're just asking players to give us their last words on their NBA bubble experience.
I'm glad that, we got a chance to, finish out the season. NBA did a good job of, hosting this event and, letting players come out and play.
Thank you.
Anyone from the bubble?
Yeah, we got 2 in here.
All right, who's over in the bubble?
Hey, Kawhi, Stan. Kawhi this year from a life-changing free agency decision to Kobe, the pandemic, to this disappointment. What's this journey been this year?
It's been, shocking, you know what I mean? Like you said, pandemic, a legend, passing away from a, crazy accident. And, us coming here to Lake Buena Vista to play these games, it's been hectic. But I'm happy. I was just telling him I'm happy that we got to play basketball again, and it probably kept a lot of us upbeat.
There was obviously a lot of reasons to be down, things happening in the world. I know when play stopped, there were some questions about whether or not you guys wanted to keep going. Mentally, do you think you guys ended up being all in and having everything?
For sure. Well, everybody wanted to play. Once you put on that jersey, it's no thinking back at all. It's time to, lace them up.
What's next for this team?
Just got to build some chemistry. Got to get smarter. We pieced up a team together. We were close. Denver's great. We shot ourselves in the foot the last 3 games. The last 3 games were pretty much a mirror. Us coming in and, not able to score the ball in the 3rd or the 4th quarter. And, tonight was just a mirror of it. And, those are the things that, you got to learn and grow from. And, Denver did an amazing job. Coach did a great job. When a team is playing us a certain way, trying to get the ball out of my hands or packing the paint, we got to know what to do. And we can't panic if, we're not making shots, if I'm not making shots. That's the things we got to get smart at. Even being, double digits, second half, just learning lessons. Just got to get smart.
Next, we're going to go to Om.
Hey, Kawhi, this team that was never able to reach its full potential, how do you view this season after people thought you guys were title contenders, and what needs to happen? What needs to be added to this team that might be missing?
I don't know right now. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say that. But like I was just telling, like I was just saying, just being smarter, just knowing us being able to, know what to do in situations when guys are playing in certain ways, and just seeing how we could get some execution down the stretch, guys knowing exactly where they need to be in crunch time or in situations where we can't put the ball in the hole. And those are the big things. That's what championship teams have. They have a chemistry of how to get out the hole when they're in it, and they know exactly what to do when a team is throwing different scenarios at you.
Next, we'll go to the question in the bubble.
Yeah, Kawhi, people are going to take over this team, the way it finished. Externally, how will you guys look back and pick over what went wrong and why you didn't get to where you wanted to?
Like I was just telling him, think the last 3 games pretty much like mirrored each other. Good first half, then we'll come in and probably score in the third and not score in the fourth, or vice versa. Not score in the third or try to make a comeback in the fourth. And with a team like Denver, you can't do that. They've been together, for a while. They know the ins and outs. If we're playing the best player this way, then they're going to do this and that. So those are the things that you need in order to get over that hump. And we wasn't able to do it.
Was the fact that you guys haven't been together, you think that what was missing in those 4 quarters when you needed to be able to turn it on?
I mean, you could say that, but we were right there. Like I said, there's no excuses. We should have finished it off. Like I said, the last 3 games pretty much mirrored each other.
Next, we're going to go to Toman.
Hey, Kawhi, how do you view this season? Obviously, you guys have high expectations. And the second part is, why was it so hard for you guys to find a consistent third scorer when the depth of this team was something crazy coming into the year?
Like I was saying, we just couldn't make no shots. I feel like we got some good looks. That's when it comes to the team chemistry, just knowing, what we should run to get the ball in spots, or just if someone's getting doubled or they're packing the paint, trying to make other guys make shots, and we got to know the exact spots we need to be in, and just got to carry over and just get smarter as a team. You got to get smarter. Basketball IQ got to get better.
Okay, thank you, Kawhi. You're done. Thank you.
Even-keeled Kawhi Leonard, as always, reflecting on an opportunity lost as the Nuggets are back in the Western Conference Finals for the first time in 11 years. More of our post-game coverage amid that raucous celebration coming up.
Vented where you want it. Cool when you need it. Cool Zone Fly from Fruit of the Loom.
Disappointing finish to his first season as a Clipper.
What additions or what changes to the roster would you like to see?
None. First year together, you can't even say we want to change our roster. We like what we got. We've been saying it all year. It's just chemistry, being together. The more we can be together, the better we will be. It's year one. We got a lot to reflect on, a lot to look at going forward, and to get better with.
A question from the bubble from Mark Spears.
Well, you talk about the fourth quarter. It's kind of blowing your mind when you saw that things weren't coming.
They made shots. It's been really the tail of the series. They've been making shots, playing at a faster pace. And they got free tonight. Thought Jamal got free. Jokic made big plays, kept the ball alive, big rebounds. They played well. They played well to close the game out tonight.
But you personally.
How did I feel?
Yeah.
As they're making shots?
Yeah, as the fourth quarter was unfolding, I'm sure you're pretty shocked.
From my perspective, just keep fighting. Try to see the ball go down. We kind of got cold in that fourth. All we could do is fight at that point. We tried to get stops. We tried to, force them into turnovers. They did a great job of playing through that. They made big plays, big shots, and it just looked like we couldn't get enough stops that we needed.
We'll stay down there and go to Dan.
You talked about kind of the second half going forward. compounded by the fact that it happened in Game 6, 2, almost exactly the same way. It happened again in Game 5. Did that cumulatively just build on you guys, the fact that it happened kind of 3 nights in a row?
No, I wouldn't say, I wouldn't necessarily say that. We get the same looks. We've been getting the same shots that we've been getting in the first halves of all of those games. We just, as a squad, just went cold. And on the other side of that, they kept just running their stuff. They kept running in with pace, with speed, and getting the looks they want to get. For them, they're missing those shots in the first half. We're making ours in the first half, and it's complete opposite in the second half of each of those games. So I don't think the previous games were wearing on us. Again, we knew we had to win this. It's Game 7. We just went cold as a team.
How's that going to sit with you? I mean, who knows when next season's going to start, knowing that you guys had double-digit leads 3 times?
Well, that hurts. That hurts. It hurts. It hurts, but we move on. Again, year 1 together, first run together. Of course, we wanted to win this, but we've been very optimistic about us being together and building something going down the road.
Go to Ohm.
Almost since you and Kawhi teamed up, all anybody wanted to talk about was how the Lakers and Clippers were the 2 title favorites, and it almost happened. At any point, though, did you guys feel like, maybe this was going to happen, or felt the pressure to make that happen? And also, how would you assess your first season with Kawhi?
It was great. A great first season with Kawhi. Still learning, figuring each other out. But I thought we had a great year playing off each other. We can only improve off that. But it's pressure you want. It's pressure you want. You want that pressure. First time I've been on the team and been considered and not be considered the underdog. So it was different, but you want that pressure as a competitor, as a guy that want to compete. You want that pressure. Fact of the matter is, we didn't make it to where we wanted to get to. Tip our hats off to Denver. They played great. And again, all we got to do is look forward to the next one.
Question from Jonathan down the bubble.
Over here. So much has happened in the NBA bubble. So as the journey comes to an end, we're asking players to give us their last words on their NBA bubble experience.
Not really sure. Next question.
We'll go to Miriam.
Hey, Paul. Thanks for all your help this year. Lou mentioned that you guys had a quick conversation as a team. I'm looking forward. Can you talk about that? What do you guys tell each other after this experience?
After the game?
Yeah.
We just stayed positive about it. We stayed positive about it. Again, we tipped our hats off to the opponents. They played good down the stretch, but it hurt as a group. It's not the outcome that we wanted, but we stayed together regardless. We talked it out. We stayed together in the locker room, and again, we kind of knew what this was. It's a team that's we're looking for the long run, and keep saying it. All we got from here is to be positive going forward on what we can be, and the team in the future. That's all we have right now, and we're just positive and optimistic about it.
Got time for a couple more. We'll go to Andrew.
Hey, PG. Lou was saying that this season the chemistry wasn't able to reach its full potential. I'm talking about changing roles, and obviously the long break off didn't help. I guess what kept it, you feel like, from reaching its full potential this year, and how would you like to see that change going into next year?
I think just adversity, a lot of adversity we dealt with, rightfully so. Guys had to, go home for, rightful reasons, and we just missed a lot of time being together with injuries in the regular season and inside the bubble. Needed this or needed that, they just know each other. They've been on the string for so long, and I think it showed.
And we'll take one final question from Gary down in the bubble.
Ever since that July night that Kawhi signed and Clippers traded for, he's been championship talk. Were expectations just too high considering all the new guys, all the guys with the right systems? Was it just too much, but you guys had to kind of take it on because that was the expectations?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's obvious pressure, to live up to the title expectations. But as a player, I mean, you want that. Like, you want that. Again, it's the first time I've been in that situation where we're expected to win. But it is what it is. It's no cop out. Fact of the matter is we didn't live up to that expectation. But I think internally we've always felt this is not a championship or bust year for us. We can only get better the longer we stay together and the more we're around each other. The more chemistry for this group, the better. I think that's really the tell of the tape of this season. We just didn't have enough time together.
Thanks, D. Have a good night.
Appreciate it.
Clippers come up short, shockingly so, after leading this series 3-1. Of course, you know the story of how this team came together last summer, bringing in Kawhi Leonard, signed as a free agent, and then in a blockbuster deal, picked up Paul George in a trade with Oklahoma City that sent Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and 5 future first-round picks to OKC. Montrezl Harrell won the Sixth Man of the Year. They were second in the league in scoring and one of only 2 teams top 5 in offensive and defensive efficiency. All that stuff's great, guys, but when it came down to it, they could not hold leads. Late in the series, 3 straight games when they had chances to eliminate the Denver Nuggets. Karan, you've heard this theme from some of the guys about the lack of continuity because of injuries, and that was true throughout the season. They hadn't played that many games when everybody was healthy. Is it a chemistry issue that you saw rear its head late in these games when they couldn't hold those leads, or was it something else in your mind that forced the Clippers to head home tonight rather than after a series with the Lakers?
I think it was a combination of, many things. When you think about chemistry, Paul George, kept touching on that in the post-game interview, and that definitely was part of it. And then the lack of games, and that was by design because we knew that Kawhi Leonard was going to come in and not play pretty much more than 58 to 59 games this season because of load management. And that was something that worked while he was in Toronto, and it was extremely successful. They was able to hoist up that trophy at the end of the season. And that was the same thing that they wanted to recycle and do, with the Clippers. But I felt like it affected them because Paul George missed time, and then he missed time, and then all of a sudden other guys got it going. And you even had moments where Montrezl Harrell has spoken out, talked about chemistry issues in the midst of the season prior to the pandemic hitting and the stoppage of play. And then fast forward to now, I think that everybody was playing on the even playing field. All teams were lacking chemistry, and they was just trying to get back to it. When you look at the Lakers, the team just across the hall, they had pieces and moving pieces and things like that. Anthony Davis trying to coexist with LeBron James. Everybody had their own battle within, but other teams prevailed and found a way to just make it work. And another thing that haven't been touched on is just the Nuggets starters. They outscored the Clippers team 90-89. Let that resonate. Let that set in for a second. Just the starters alone outscored the entire Clippers team today. So when you talk about just being present and in the moment, they was ready.
And this was a deep Clipper team. We talked about that for much of the season, how deep they were going into the season, how much deeper they got, bringing in Marcus Morris and bringing in Reggie Jackson back in February, and still they come up short. Zeke, what did you see on the floor that the Clippers lacked when it came to winning time in these last 3 games?
I thought they lacked a sense of urgency to win a championship. And when you're talking about winning a championship, there's only a small window of opportunity that you get to really go after it and chase it and win it. And, it didn't seem like the Clippers to me understood that, hey, this was their moment. This was their chance to really do something great collectively that, some of them had never done or experienced. So I didn't sense the urgency to win the championship. There was urgency to win a game, but to win a championship, to really put it all on the line and say, hey, we're collectively going for it. I didn't sense that. Now I just heard Paul George say, hey, there's next year, we just got together. There's more time. Again, that window of opportunity closes, and it closes quick, because you never see that next team that's on the rise. And a couple of years ago, when it was Lob City, we didn't see the Golden State Warriors coming. And all of a sudden they were there and Lob City was over. Now we're looking at this Clipper team, and we knew the Nuggets were good, but when it's head-to-head matchup now, and the Nuggets now all of a sudden here, now that window of opportunity that you have for the Clippers in terms of a sense of urgency to win the championship, the question is now, is that window closed? I mean, when you look at Leonard, he's got to opt out next year. He's not in it for the long run. You look at they're going to lose. They possibly could lose Harrell this year. They could possibly lose Morris this year. So whatever team they're thinking about having coming back next year, it could be different. So this was their year. This was that sense of urgency to win a championship, not just a game, not just a playoff round, but to really go for it and say, okay, we're all in. And I didn't see that in this closeout Game 7.
Yeah, I'm with you. And there are always, X's and O's things that come into play and rotations and all that stuff. But I remember saying 2 games ago back in Game 5 that there was kind of a too cool for school vibe about this Clipper team. And maybe some of that is just their personalities. You got some low-key guys at the top of their roster in terms of talent. I get that. But just the absence of fire. And I hate to go back to that, but it just never felt like that was there with this club over the last couple of games. And now they're headed back to Los Angeles. Yeah, go ahead.
Matt, I always felt like, when, every year that I played in the NBA, I always felt it was championship or bust. I never felt like making the playoffs was a good thing. And it was always, if my team didn't win the championship, I felt like my season was an absolute failure. And that's how I felt personally, until I absolutely won one and then won 2. But, other than that, I always felt like it was a failure. I never felt like, making the playoffs, we did a good job and next year would come. And I don't know if the championship these days has been devalued so much that a lot of players, I don't know if they feel like, they got to win the championship to feel successful or to feel gratified or to have their career gratified. I just know, me personally, had I not won an NBA championship, I would have felt like my NBA career was a waste because I didn't win it.
Yeah, I don't know why a championship would be devalued. There's still only one team that gets to walk away a winner.
Yeah, OG, you touched on it too. You said win or bust. And I think in the soundbite in the postgame interview with Paul George, he said he didn't feel like it was a championship or bust or win it all or bust situation. And I think that was that's a huge part of the problem. When you're not playing with that urgency and desperation, what you're talking about. The Los Angeles Clippers was favored to win the championship. Not, to be there or one of the top 3 teams or contenders. They was favored to win a championship with the addition of Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, having Ty Lue on the sideline, Sam Cassell, they have 3 coaches over there, head coaches and great coaches, and did a remarkable job. But the players is it was just lack of engagement in numerous times. And they went stretches where they just wasn't there mentally. And you just cannot have that if you're trying to get over that hurdle to win a championship.
Yeah, agreed. Somehow they were less than the sum of their parts, certainly in this series. And the Clippers are done. The Nuggets win it, and they're moving forward. We'll hear from their two stars when we come back. A 40-piece from Jamal Murray, a triple-double from Nikola Jokic, both due with the microphone. For the participants, Jamal Murray's good. If you get him, you may get to the conference finals. He had 40 tonight in Game 7.
Coming back for the second time, and what it was like when you started to sense that you guys were in control of this game.
We sensed it early, and we dropped Game 3. We just came with the right energy. We knew, we had them against the wall, and they weren't shooting well. And we just knew we got the looks we wanted in the first half that didn't drop, and we just made them in the second. We just continue to play through it like we always have this series and in this playoffs, and paid off. So it's fun to silence everybody that's talking about us, talking negative about us, and we're just gonna keep moving on from here.
All right, next we'll go to Kendra Andrews. Kendra, go ahead.
Hey Jamal, in you and Nikola's post-game interview with Rachel out on the court, Nikola was saying how he's going to remember this team and that this is a special group. Even before, coming to the bubble and what you guys have accomplished in these 2 playoff series so far, what just makes this group so special? What will you remember most about all these players you've been playing with for now about 4 years?
We built it from the ground up. Somebody asked me today who was the second highest draft pick on our team. I had to think about it, and it was Noah, I think. It was Noah, then Mike. We rebuilt this team from the ground up, and we've been through the trenches, and the hard work's paying off. That's all I can say. Everybody counts us out, and it's just fun to silence everybody. We love it, and that's what makes it so special when we play with no pressure and we go out there and just play free and trust each other. And it shows in our play, and it shows in our energy, and how we talk, and how we celebrate, and what we're down, how we react, and how we take action. And this was just another series where we got that done.
All right, next we'll go to TJ McBride. TJ, go ahead.
Hey Jamal, congrats on a huge win. I was curious if there was any kind of evolution throughout this playoff period for you and the team. That maybe you guys grew in a particular way, or if this is exactly who you guys have been, and you're just showing everybody exactly who you guys are.
We've been showing it. We've been showing it. I don't know how else to say it. We've been showing it. And you got Shaq, you got Charles, you got, I think Zach Lowe's his name, I don't even know. Stephen A, all y'all better start giving this team some damn respect, because we put in the work, and we got a resilient team, and we shouldn't have been down 3-1, but to come back from 3-1 against the Clippers, it was a big achievement. So it's fun just to change that narrative. Y'all can finally start changing the narrative and looking at us in a better light.
All right, next we'll go to Dave McMiniman. Dave, go ahead.
Hey Jamal, congrats on the win. The Clippers were the Vegas favorites coming into the year.
That's cool.
The reigning Finals MVP, a championship head coach. How did you guys view them as an opponent? And obviously you were able to overcome a 3-1 deficit. So what gave you guys the belief to have success against that team in particular?
A lot of people talk about us, but we just improved our argument. That's all I gotta say. That's how we feel.
All right, next we'll go to Mark Kisla. Mark.
Time for winning performance fueled by Gatorade. Another double-digit comeback for the Denver Nuggets and a triple-double for Nikola Jokic, just the 13th in Game 7 history. 16 points, 22 rebounds, and 13 assists for the Joker.
We'll open up for questions. Let's begin with Mike.
Nikola, kind of like last game, you rarely show emotion, but after the game, we saw you smiling, hugging your guys. We saw the water bottles in the locker room. How much fun was this comeback to create and to facilitate?
I mean, it's just fun, the journey.
3-1 Utah, 3-1 Clippers. We come back. I just, like I said, like I had a really, I wanted to say something before the game, like whatever we do, I'm gonna remember this team, but I didn't, because this is a really interesting team. We don't have a first pick. We don't have any kind of superstars. Everybody is working to get where they're at. So, and we just when we won a game, I felt just relief of we did it, So it was a good feeling.
All right, next we'll go to Katie Wingy. Katie, go ahead.
Nicola, you say you're going to remember this team. What is your favorite part of being a part of this group? What makes it so special?
Not quitting, it's I don't know how we do it. I don't know what kind of start us off, but we are just kind of not accepting that someone is better than us. We are just trying. Like, if they can, of course, beat us, but they really need to beat us. They really need to play much better than us. That like today, I think hold that team to how many points? 90, 89, 95. How many points? 89. It's amazing, So the whole team effort was amazing. Rebounding was amazing. So just when we start playing for each other and you see the ball is flowing in defense, everybody's got everybody back. It's just it's really fun to be a part of that group of people.
All right, next we'll go to Mark Kisla. Mark, go ahead.
You've been through much of this journey with Jamal Murray. What do you love most about him? How important was he to you in this game? And is he like your basketball brother, or is that going too far?
I mean, yeah, he's a competitor. He's a really competitive guy. We as a duo went through everything, but I don't want to put this. It's not just me and Jamal. It's everybody. It's really everybody, and I'm so happy that everybody accept their roles and everybody accept who they are in the most important time in the season. So it's just it's not just me and him. It's not just me. It's not just him. It's not coach. It's everybody. It's Denver Nuggets.
All right, next we'll go to Dave McMiniman. Dave, go ahead.
Nicola, Michael mentioned that you guys have been down here, I think, 71 days together at this point. Was there a moment that you looked to where it shifted, where it was, let's come down here and be professionals, to let's come down here and really do something that we'll remember forever?
I mean, when the ref throw the ball in the air and it's a tip off, you want to win every game, So you want to beat everybody. So yes, it's a lot of days. Yes, we miss everybody, our families. Yes, sometimes it's boring, sometimes it's just too much. But when the ball is out there and we are playing, you always want to win the game.
All right, next we'll go to
double the fifth of his young postseason career. He was the best player in this series. And the Nuggets move on to the NBA's Final Four, where, of course, once again, they figure to be heavy underdogs against the LA Lakers. So, Zeke, they've got them right where they want them.
Not really. Because the Lakers, they have what we've all been talking about for the last 9-10 years in terms of LeBron James. This is his 17th year, but he's been to 8-9 straight finals. So he always is championship a bust for him, and I think it's championship a bust for the Lakers. And I think they'll come with that sense of urgency. But give the Nuggets credit, but they're running into a Laker juggernaut, and they will be the underdog. But the Nuggets are used to being an underdog in series, and they'll come out and they'll play well and they'll play hard. And the Lakers are the favorite, but I'd expect the Nuggets to really play well and show that formidable team.
You could hear sort of the chip on Jamal Murray's shoulder verbally when it was mentioned that the Clippers had been heavy favorites. The Lakers will be the same. What kind of chances do you give the Nuggets against the other LA team?
I mean, I give them a fighting chance. And when you look at the dominance of, what, OG just touched on, when you talk about LeBron James and what he's been doing for years, you still got to look at the Denver Nuggets, and I think that they have become everyone's favorite, as far as like just watching them play and in this climate and embodying everything. Jamal Murray had a Hall of Fame walk-off interview in his post-game, one of the post-games that he had played in, where he was just talking about the pressure and just, dealing with all of that and still going out there and finding a way to impose his will on the game and having those, this astronomical performance from a number standpoint. Look, I give them a fighting chance, and it's not going to be an easy out. They have depth. They have belief. They believe that they can beat anybody. You hear it in their leader's voice from Joker and Jamal Murray, and let the chips fall where they may. I know we're in for one hell of a Western Conference Finals.
Well, it's
Karan, and Matt, I would say, Murray has a chip on his shoulder, and they feel like they're the underdog. But let's be real. You should be the underdog. It's not like you've been winning championships in this league. Mm-hmm. It's not like, the Nuggets, you've been on the rise, and now you got to go and do it. And I think what has happened in this era of basketball, people get trophies before they've actually gone and done it. So right now, you're sitting in the right position, the Denver Nuggets. You are the underdog. You should be the underdog. Now you got to go prove it. And you got to beat the team that's supposed to be better than you, just like you just did tonight. And that's what you got to do. That's how it goes.
They'll take on the top seed in the West, the LA Lakers, starting with Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals on Friday night. And, of course, NBA TV will have post-game coverage of that, as we do after each and every playoff game. We are down to the Final Four in the NBA. The Nuggets stunned their way to the party, and they get to stick around in the bubble. For Zeke and Karan, I'm Matt. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Respect.